Power 93.7 WBLK. I'm Yasmin Young. We are continuing with our community forum on the situation that we're dealing with in this country right now, with most recently the murder of George Floyd, although this is nothing new to the African American community, where unarmed Black men and women are dying at the hands of law enforcement. And one thing that I think we don't focus on enough is how this affects us mentally, our mental health, our mental wellness, how this affects us. We have so many emotions that are going on right now, and they range from anger to sadness to, maybe there are people with hope, but I think we need to get a grasp on that. So I'm joined today by Cambria Daniels. She's a program director with BestSelf Behavioral Health Incorporated. Welcome, Cambria.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate you because you are my go-to when we're talking about things that we really know affect mental health, because I really do believe that it's so important. We take care of our, physical health, and mental health is tied so much into that. And we as a people have suffered a lot of trauma. And this is not even just as long as you and I have been alive. This goes back hundreds of years. And we keep suffering this trauma. We keep having these emotions and these emotional breakdowns. And I just want to get some guidance from you, somebody who works in this field, about how do we handle this?
Absolutely. Again, and I really appreciate you shining light on this. It is very important that people look inward and take care of themselves mentally. It's difficult, of course, in these trying times, but I do want to talk about, that grief process. So, we're experiencing these things. It's flooding in, right? We have social media. We're contacting each other like, oh, did you hear about this? This just happened, or it's right in your neighborhood, right? So grief is a natural response to a loss, and it can range in severity. I stress a loss because many people associate grief with the loss of a loved one or someone you care deeply about. But there are other types of loss that cause grief, such as losing a job, loss of financial stability, loss of safety after a trauma. And that is kind of where we are right now. There's emotional pain that can be overwhelming and difficult to navigate. Pain from grief can disrupt your physical health, from being able to think clearly, sleep, and eating patterns. And there's subtle losses and some that are right in your face. And that's kind of what's going on right now.
So how do we, because we go through it individually, and then we're going through it as a collective. And, we don't seem to have, at least not on a national level, that leader that is reassuring, that is leading us down the path to a solution. Our leadership at the top seems right now to be causing more chaos. And I think that just, if you're already going through mental issues because of all of this trauma and things that have been happening, that doesn't help.
Absolutely. I mean, we are experiencing vicarious trauma. We don't have to know these individuals that have unfortunately lost their lives. You see it, you hear it, you read about it. So you are still on a level experiencing that trauma. It's just through them, unfortunately, right? And same when you're grieving and dealing with these stresses, it all really depends on coping style and individual faith and life experiences thus far. The length of grief, and trauma, that also, it ranges. So unfortunately, yes, there is no guidance from the top down, but that's why we need to, really look inward and reflect inward and practice emotion regulation.
What are some resources here if someone is just overwhelmed and really just wants to reach out and talk to someone and have an outside resource?
Absolutely. So, I'm so thankful that, I work at a mental health agency. We have tons of resources, and we're problem solving with everything that's going on. So we still have our main number, 716-884-0888. I am also a board member with NAMI, Buffalo and Erie County. That is National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are available as well, and that phone number is 716-226 6264. So that's NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness, and Best Self Behavioral Health. And I also encourage people to, take part in some self-care, and that is making sure you're trying to get as much sleep as possible. Your nutrition is up and your exercise, doing things that you enjoy. It is hard to take your mind off of this because it's constantly in your face, but you do have to reflect inward and practice that emotion regulation, stress, and anxiety management.
Cambria, I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for sharing those resources.
Absolutely. Thank you again. And I'm so sorry that we all have to deal with this, but we will get through this together. Please try to practice your self-care.